This is Favors Financial Topics, various topics. So I want to talk about your romantic worth. As I noted earlier in a previous slide, that sometimes we don't know our worth until it's uh, been damaged, right? Until someone has thrown water on our mirror. And as long as no one tells us that we are ugly, we think we are beautiful. We think we are pretty. We think we are all that. But it doesn't, but that is challenged. That sort of implicit argument about yourself is challenged once you enter the dating market, especially when your beauty is challenged, and it is challenged and compared to the global beauty standards. And I talk about romantic worth and other series that I have on YouTube, but I want to connect it to personal finances here and overcoming financial setback and moving towards financial recovery. So if your male partner, and we're looking at an example based upon global beauty standards, if your male partner or female partner, for some men listening, wants a high value partner who is socially perceived as a 9-10, stay off that territory. Because if your partner wants someone like that, that means that you are not like that. And what happens with people, and you see this today, especially on social media, people will begin to change their look. They will get more plastic surgery. They will get butt surgery. They will get liposuction. They will do all they can to become a 9-10. But in your heart, you may not be the type of person who fits that standard. You can be a beautiful person. You can be a 9-10, but that person wants another 9-10. And I've always heard someone say, a man is as faithful as his options, that they always want to level up. And if you go and change the very essence of yourself using your personal finances, there's something that's going to be left a gap. And again, it's usually your personal finances. If you allocate all of your efforts to trying to become the thing that that other person wants you to become, then you are not going to have something else in the end. Their perception means for you that you are not a 9-10 in their eyes. And you can change and change and change and do everything that you can to make yourself look like what it is you want to look like for that person to increase your romantic worth. But if they're not accepting you as you are, now I'm not saying you need to be a slob. I'm not saying you need to not carry yourself well and still think you should be accepted. I'm not talking about that. A lot of women carry themselves very well, but men oftentimes, for ego reasons, will go and pick a woman that they ordinarily would not want or date, just to have sex, just to boost his ego, just to do anything to make him feel good in the meantime, while he is pursuing the person that he really wants. And when that person rejects him, he goes back to, like the rebound person, gets whatever he needs, nourishment, encouragement, food, shelter, anything. And here it is, while he's doing that and you thinking that he wants to be with you, you are doling out cash to make yourself better, but also doling out cash to take care of him, because that type of person never has a place of his or her own. And so their perception, you base your whole life on their perception, and they don't even really care about you. You base all of your personal finances. I have seen those shows, Love and Hip Hop. No, not Love and Hip Hop. Love After Lockup. And there was this woman and men too on that show. They're paying out $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. One of those people who was in jail, who was a woman, I forget her name, it was a black lady, and it was a white man who was sort of sending her all that money, like $800,000. That's a house. That's a scholarship. That's a house. That's a help somebody who's homeless. That's a lot of money to commit to a person who doesn't even end up being with you in the end. So their perception of you You can't change their perception with your money. You can't change your romantic worth to fit their perception with your money. You can indeed change your romantic worth for yourself, but you can't change it for that person. This does not mean that you are not beautiful in your own right or a 9/10 in your perception. What this means is that our society connects physical attractiveness with some form of upward mobility. So that's why you see people, men, when they do, when they're not doing so well, they, sort of stay with the, I forget what it's called, the come up woman. But then when they do well and they make more money and they increase in their status, their economic status or social status, they drop the come up woman and they get the woman that they really want. It's like a car. Men rate women by cars as well. They use a rating system 1 to 10, but they also look at us in terms of investment as cars. So a person will stay with a Toyota, a Ford, a Buick because it's reliable, it'll last a long time, it'll give you what you need, and you can have it for years. But then when they get more money, they want that Tesla, they want that Porsche, they want that Lamborghini because it makes them look good. And men are much more ego driven than women. Women do, of course, like to compete with each other, and they want to have the best fashionable bag and have the best fashionable clothes, and there goes your money even more. Whether you are making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, you still need to know how to manage your money, your intake versus your outtake. It is almost satiric. All the pretty people are with each other and are thriving, and all the non-pretty people must stay down and on their own level. So when a person who becomes famous decides to drop the come up woman, he immediately lowers her social status for anybody else. Unless she was already high social status and he married her. And so then if she was already high social status and he didn't have any real status until he married her, then her status won't really change just because he decided to divorce her and move with somebody else. But when she didn't have status and he has status, he's going to marry the person, or he's going to move to another person and marry someone else to increase her status, because men like to look like they're leaders. They like to look like they're bosses. And so, and of course, they like a pretty person on their arm. They like a person who glitters and shines on their arm. But it's unfortunate because the person who was with you as a come up was the person who would, I believe, who would take care of you if you got sick. And that's something to think about too. So when you are thinking about your finances and attaching them to your romantic worth and vice versa, you want to consider all these factors as well. All right. Hopefully you were able to gain some insight from this series topic. Like, subscribe, and visit. Like the video, hit the notification bell for future videos. You can visit my website, which is still in development, reginayfavors.com. You can always email me with a question, reginayfavors@yahoo.com. You will be able to purchase the book by the end of October 2021. I'm hoping that I will have it completed, completely revised rather. It is already written and done. I just have to edit it. It is Overcoming Setback: 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction. Thank you for visiting the channel. Coming soon is my new book that I am working on presently and hope to complete by the end of the year, December 2021, preferably February 2022, and that is Favors: Financial Recovery, Psychological Approaches to Overcoming Financial Setback, with some workbook elements. So it is the it will be the book that will support the audio series, although I have developed the audio series prior to actually writing the book. So be on the lookout for this new book. When it comes out, when I finish, I will create an audio introduction to the book. Thank you again for visiting the channel.